One kid on school was popular only because he liked to start shit and bully everyone. So most people were friends with him just to avoid being a victim. One day he tried that on the wrong kid, got beat up so bad to the point he started crying. Honestly, I think it was a win for the bully because it gave him a pretty good wake-up call. Became less of a bully and is now quite humble. Yeah, most people who talk a lot of shit never had the shit kicked out of them. Usually after they get their ass beat, they realize they ain't shit and become nicer people. Lost control of his car when he and his best friend were driving to Taco Bell at night. He came out of it with a fractured collarbone. His friend died on the spot. He was really close with his friend's parents too, and vice versa. He made a few posts on Facebook on how he was an idiot and how sorry he was. The dead friend's sister and parents made it very clear that they didn't blame him. It was winter, black ice, and he was 100% sober. Before he was, like, a stereotypical popular dude but in the wholesome way. Dropped out of school and became addicted to painkillers. Don't know what happened to him afterwards, but it was just sad for everyone. I know a big high school bully who thought it would be funny to punch the teacher's back when he was walking in front of the bully. He picked the wrong teacher. He instinctively reacted and punched the bully back. Bully went down hard. Bully got suspended and nothing else happened to him or the teacher. About 8 years later, the bully came back to the high school and asked to talk with the teacher. He actually thanked the teacher for what happened that day. Bully said to the teacher that punch completely changed the course of his life. He was running with a rough crowd and thought he was big and bad. He thought nothing of beating people up. After the incident and getting punched by the teacher, he realized that he underestimated how quickly things change when you go up against the wrong guy. He completely changed how he approached the world, got out of trouble, got a good job, and was about to get married. And he credits that incident with changing the course of his life, punching the wrong person. Lol. Fucking factory reset him. Had this cliff that was really dangerous, and to keep kids away, the genius locals spread around the rumor that it was haunted. Naturally, the cool kids wanted to go there like all the time. Once the gang of those supposedly cool kids, 4 in total, went there and no one really knows what happened. One kid jumped to his death, the stories of the rest didn't pan out correctly. Each one had a different version. They were high. No one was jailed. But all 3 were depressed and eventually spiraled out of control. One odded 2 years later, one was in a car accident, drunk. And one committed suicide. That cliff is definitely haunted. He got made fun of because he wanted to wait to have sex with his new GF, popular girl, so he caved and did it. Teen pregnancy. I think the term peer pressure gets thrown around a lot like it's some everyday thing you can shrug off, and it very well can be. But then there's cases like this where it can permanently affect or destroy someone's life or reputation. Peer pressure needs to be taken more seriously. I actually ran into one of the super popular kids at the local bar when I came home from college. She would never give me the time of day in high school, and I for sure thought she didn't even know I existed, but she approached me at the bar, super drunk, and said, "Hey, didn't I go to high school with you?" She then proceeded to tell me she wished she had been nicer to more people in high school and that she has no idea what she's doing with her life. Honestly, feels good to know that she's thought about how she treated people back then. Not sure if that's the norm or just a weird occasion. Probably is the norm. Kids are stupid, and in high school it's easy to get high on power or popularity, but after they will tend to realize that life isn't a high school musical movie. Well, a super popular cheerleader girl at my school ended up falling downstairs and broke her back and got paralyzed and has to use a wheelchair ever since. Sad face. So yes, that is one example answer. Stairs are not a joke. Damn, that one's actually a little heartbreaking. I'm not sure I would call him the popular kid, but in some circles he was. He was a bit of an arrogant ass in my opinion, but had money and liked to spread it around. His dad was a wealth manager. Lots of friends, family, community members were clients. A few years after high school it came out that dad had embezzled millions. Their entire wealth was stolen from friends and family. This rocked him hard. Dad went to jail and he changed his name and totally became a different person. I saw him after that and barely recognized him. His personality and even his posture was different. I felt really bad for him. I ended up having a really good talk with him, and I can only imagine what he has gone through. Edit. Wow, lots of people have asked for details on location, and was it so and so? which tells me this has clearly happened before. I won't give any more details other than it wasn't in the US. Since everyone is talking about people dying, I was the popular kid whose life fell apart in seconds and didn't die. I was a good student, athlete, etc., but I sold weed. One day, I came into class and got arrested in front of my app history class and escorted out of the school between classes so everyone was in the hall. I got expelled, kicked out of parents' house, and kept getting in trouble. As far as everyone I grew up was concerned, I ended up in jail. My life spiraled, but then I joined the Marines, which definitely helped me, but then I got badly injured and had to fight the VA over 10 years for my benefits. It was a rough 15 years. One day I decided to try coding and realized it was the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. I now write software for banks and live by the beach in Sakal. Everyone still thinks I'm in jail, lol. Edit, holy cow you guys. I've never gotten an award, let alone 5. I hope I've been answering everyone's questions and responded to all your direct messages. You have no idea how much your responses mean to me. Thank you. This is really inspiring. Way to turn your life around. My brother was the popular kid in school. He was loved by everyone, and most of the people I graduated with know him, but since we have different last names, didn't know we were related until I told them. He started pills in high school, then then in and out of jail, forced into rehab instead of serving jail time. Lived in our mom's basement until he was 30. He finally moved out, but my parents pay his rent. He's a year sober now though. When I was in 5th grade, back in the 1960s, there was a kid in our class named Lawrence. He was the best student in our class, always finished math tests way before anyone else, and the best athlete, so picked first for every team sport. One day, during class, a lady from the principal's office came in, whispered something to our teacher, and then the two of them escorted Lawrence out into the hallway. A few minutes later, our teacher returned and told us that Lawrence's father had been killed in Vietnam when the helicopter he was in was shot down. Lawrence never returned our school. My older brother was in Nam at that time, he made it back safe. That was the day the full reality of the war really hit me. This was years ago and I only met the guy after the fact. At school he was a baseball player and had a scholarship to University of Hawaii for that. He was a good-looking kid. Apparently he smoked a joint laced with PCP and it fried his brain. I met him a few years later when I was working the night shift at a suburban Bay Area 7-Eleven. He was the guy that would be standing out in front of the store at 2 o'clock in the morning talking to himself. I later heard he had fallen off an overpass. Teacher here. High school football star yelled some racist shit to another school's player while stopped at a traffic light, but he didn't know the person he was yelling at was recording. The guy posted the video on Twitter. You can clearly see who it is. Twitter attacked. Guy went from quarterback, team captain with several offers for D1 schools to absolutely nothing. I'm sure he'll still go to college or something, and hopefully he can learn from this and change his outlook. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, consider to subscribe so you don't miss next coming videos.